cause trouble with the truth. One thing I want to talk about today, well, not just one thing, but it might be several things, but it all focuses on one subject. Our good friends, the liberals, our good old compassionate friends, the liberals, you know, they care about everybody, and they're the ones who can see the evils of the day and everything. And one of those evils they usually talk about is the Christian church. And I'm not talking about just any old little church. I'm talking about Bible believing Christian church, you know. And when it comes to that, they don't see any tolerance, or they don't want to be liberal in that aspect. But they'll be liberal in homosexual marriage and free abortions and redistribution of wealth. But when it comes to Christianity, like our friends in ACLU and the NEA and all these other liberal organizations, their defense of Christianity is somewhat sporadic. And these people, for the most part, hold to a Marxist mindset, socialism and communism, which is at odds with Christianity. But then, when people start speaking out against them, oh, all of a sudden they become Jesus experts. They know what Jesus was all about. Jesus wasn't about what you Christians today are talking about. Jesus was a socialist. Jesus was a communist because, Jesus, he would have taken all of your money because Jesus was about helping the poor. And that's all socialism and communism is about, is helping the poor. And you Christian people, y'all don't want to help the poor and everything. All you all do is preach about money and everything and stuff like that. And sad to say, let me be frank when I say this. Sad to say, a lot of our churches have helped the liberals along in that mindset, because a lot of these churches do preach about money. But for the most part, liberals are against anything that has to do with God. They want to take God out of the schools. They want to take him out of public, uh, basically out of the public period. You know, you can talk about Jesus in your churches, but if I believe in Jesus, if he's part of my belief system, I'm going to carry Jesus everywhere besides the church. But anyway, I want you all to hear these great swelling words of wisdom from the smartest man on the planet. You know, his name is Barack Hussein Obama. And he was at a prayer breakfast recently, and he had these great words of wisdom to say. I want you all to hear this.
To myself, if I'm willing to give something up as somebody who's been extraordinarily blessed, and give up some of the tax breaks that I enjoy, I actually think that's going to make economic sense. But for me as a Christian, it also coincides with Jesus' teaching that for unto whom much is given, much shall be required. That got a lot of.
Wow. Did you all hear that? Barack Obama, all of a sudden, he wants to wax Christian like. He wants to wax pious now. And he said that in the Bible, to whom much is given, much is required. Wow. So basically, what Barack Obama was trying to say was that Jesus is for excessive taxation. Funny, that Jesus seemed to be against tax collectors when he walked this planet. And Jesus didn't seem to be a person who was so overtaken with finances and financial greed or anything like that. And when you say to whom much has been given, much is required, that's not just talking about money. Now, these liberals, they love to bring this stuff up. First of all, your typical liberal does not believe in Christianity, does not believe in God. They do not read the Bible. But every now and then, they pick up on a scripture and they take it and they twist it and they rip it to shreds. And, like a couple of years ago, a man named Lawrence O'Donnell, he said, how much would Jesus take? He would take all the money. And that's not what Jesus was talking about. And see, what they're trying to do, they're trying to make it look like, okay, Jesus, he went about helping the poor and all this and everything, which he did. But they're trying to make themselves out to be the compassionate ones by saying, we're just doing what Jesus would have done. Are you sure that Jesus would have said, okay, you've got too much money. Let me take your money and give it to somebody else? People, charity is not compulsory. Charity is an act of the heart. Okay? And Jesus was telling people to do this voluntarily. Jesus was not about redistribution of wealth. Keep that in mind. Jesus wasn't like, okay, we need to take your money and give it to somebody else. That's not compassion. That's not charity. So when you all come up and say, we're just doing what Jesus would have done. See, you Christians, y'all not compassionate. If you don't want, you all supposed to be about Jesus, but y'all against the government helping out those who are less fortunate. I'm not against that. I just don't like them taxing my money to do it. It's my hard-earned money. And I don't care if you are a billionaire or a millionaire. Nobody has the right to say, okay, you got so much money, so we're going to take it from you and give it to somebody else. That's not what Jesus was talking about. And don't come up and say that's what Jesus was talking about. Because you all want to fit Jesus into your own socialist, communist ideologies. But Jesus was not talking about you need to take what the rich have and give it to the poor. Yes, Jesus said, if you have enough, if you have a lot of money and everything, you should be able to help somebody who doesn't have a lot. But he wasn't saying you should be forced to do that. See, one thing liberals need to understand is Jesus wasn't about going against your will, whether it was right or wrong. Jesus gave you a choice. Do you want to do right or do you want to do wrong? Now, let me tell you, whatever choice you make, right or wrong, there's a consequence that comes with it. But I'm not going to force you to make that choice. And see, the liberals are all about forcing you to do their ungodly agenda. And they can put Jesus in it all they want to. But what they want you to do has nothing at all to do with Jesus. All they trying to do is guilt trip Christians into feeling like, okay, we're not doing enough. We're not doing Jesus's work. But the liberals, they're doing Jesus's work. They want to help the poor. No, they do not. All they want to do is make it look like they're helping the poor so that they can get those votes when it comes election time. But they really do not care about the poor. Because if they really did, they wouldn't be raising taxes on everybody. They would dig into their pockets and help them themselves. Because a lot of these people in the government, they're millionaires. Have a few billionaires in there too, I'm pretty sure. And they can go into their pockets and help the poor out. And don't give me this thing about, Warren Buffett talking about, His taxes need to be raised. His taxes don't need to be raised. He doesn't need to go to the government to help out someone who is less fortunate than he is. He can reach into his own pocket and say, here, I want to give this to you. I want to help you buy some food. So don't give me this mess about the government being so compassionate, because they are not. I hope I have given you some trouble today. You all have a nice day.